5 years ago, I never thought I'd be here talking about the possible financial impact of Wrexham getting promoted to the Premier League. 5 years on, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have made that possible with the incredible journey that Wrexham have seen from the National League to now the top end of the Championship. And today we are going to be having an in-depth look at what could possibly happen if Wrexham do get promoted to the most prestigious league in world football. Before we get going in today's video, if you're looking for the best Wrexham AFC content, I say it every video, it's coming your way on the channel. Make sure to get down there and click the red subscribe button. We are on the road to 29,000 subscribers. Let's as well go for a big like target of 600, and let me know in the comment section down below where in the world you are watching this video from. I do it in a couple of videos a year, so let me know in the comment section down below. And without further ado, let's get talking finances. Now, having heard an interview on ESPN the other day claiming that Wrexham's commercial revenue is one of the biggest outside the big six in the Premier League, it really intrigued me to take a look at how promotion to the top tier of English football would impact Wrexham financially in a lot of different sectors. It's not going to be a serious video, of course. I'm not saying Wrexham in the Premier League, Wrexham are going to get there. It is just going to be a fun look at some of the mesmerising figures, because just 3-4 years ago, we were in the National League making barely any money off broadcasting revenue, probably making £500,000 a year. And wait until you see how much we would make from TV rights. It is going to blow your mind. So we are going to start off with sponsorships. Now, it's a well-known fact that Wrexham benefit so heavily off various different sponsorship contracts that we've been contracted to over the past couple of years. If we are looking at the latest financial report that we do have access to, the 23-24 season in League 2, Wrexham are freshly promoted to the fourth tier of English football. The sponsorship revenue stood at £13.2 million. Now, at the time, that obviously consisted of United Airlines being the front of shirt sponsor, HP, MetaQuest, etc. You know, all these big global names were interested in sponsoring Wrexham, and that sponsorship price obviously was a lot higher than it would be pre-takeover due to the worldwide factor that Wrexham had gained very quickly from the ownership of Rob and Ryan. Now, if we are looking at the average commercial income for a Premier League side outside the big six, it can range from anywhere between £15 million and £100 million. According to the Financial Times this season, Wrexham is set to record a £20 to £30 million commercial revenue. That was when we were in League 1, bearing in mind. So if we're comparing that to a Premier League side, we'd be slap bang in the middle for commercial revenue, which, again, outside the big six in the Premier League, we're talking about the most watched league in the world, the league in the world that is regarded as the best league in world football. So for Wrexham to be in the middle of there with the finances, with the commercial revenue for a League 1 side at the time, it does make you think, how much could this commercial revenue and this sponsorship revenue number rise to if we were to reach that league? Like I said, it's the most watched league in world football. Naturally, as you go up the leagues, the sponsorship price of, that football clubs do hold for their sleeve sponsor, their short sponsor, their front of shirt sponsor, etc. It could be anything to do with the club, is going to drastically increase because you're getting more and more eyeballs the more leagues you go up. And Wrexham have seen that so heavily in the past couple of seasons with the back-to-back promotions. So if we are to get to the Premier League, we've seen how much the sponsorships hold. It'd be very interesting to see how much this number could soar to in the top tier. Talking next on TV and broadcast. This is where the serious figures, and this is where you are going to be mesmerised, because like I said at the start of the video, in the National League we would just probably be getting about £500,000 for being on TV. That was just 3 calendar years ago. Fast forward now, if Wrexham are to gain a historic promotion to the Premier League, the numbers that we would secure and the money that we would secure from the TV rights is just game-changing money for any club going up to the Premier League, let alone Wrexham, who have been stuck in the National League for the past 14-15 years. An estimated 1.6 billion cumulative viewers watch the Premier League per season. That is genuinely ridiculous, and I think I saw a stat that's 34% of the world's population watched the Premier League last year. So to have Wrexham on the global stage, being probably in front of the cameras week in, week out, as we can expect, and this isn't me sat here saying, oh, I'm being really cocky about Wrexham, we're big time this, that and whatever, but we've seen as we've gone up the leagues, the broadcasters absolutely love this, and there's one reason for that. It's Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. The global exposure that Wrexham do have is currently through the roof at the minute. I don't think we've seen that at any EFL side, so they're going to want to put our games on telly whenever they can, and what that means for us supporters is a lot less Saturday 3 o'clock kickoffs. We'll most likely see Friday night games, early Saturday, late Saturday kickoffs, and even probably some Sunday games here and there if they are going to put us on television on Sky Sports for most matches, which would be disappointing on that sense because it might just mess up the complete schedule for people. But it's the price you pay going up to the Premier League, and I'm sure it's a price that many fans would easily pay if it meant we were to see us play against the likes of Man United, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, etc. on a regular basis. What I've just said about the cumulative viewers, now I'm going to read out the figures and you're going to understand why they are so high. In the Championship this season, Wrexham have earned between £11 and £12 million in broadcasting revenue, compared to the Premier League, where we would earn a minimum of £110 million, which is an £100 million increase alone from TV revenue. Now, it varies from different clubs across the Premier League, so with our strong worldwide interest, this number could even rise above £110 million easily. If we are further looking into the broadcast payments, it's split between different payments, but every club in the Premier League is guaranteed £97 million. That's split into domestic and international rights and central commercial distribution. Additional funds in that consist of facility fees, merit payments, but they contribute to a small amount of that incredible number of nearly £100 million. So it is big on that sense because there is a lot of gain for Wrexham if we are to get promoted to the Premier League. Not only does it mean we play in the top tier, but financially, commercially, just in a lot of aspects to do with finance, it is a massive game changer for Wrexham. And if we are to get promoted this season, who knows what that could do for the football club going forward in regards to staying in the Premier League, securing ourselves as a well-renowned Premier League club. The money alone could be game-changing, considering we have good financial input from our investors already. This extra funding could go a long, long way. Tying back into the commercial side of things, and it does kind of tie into the sponsorship revenue that we have just talked on, but if we are looking at the different sectors that Wrexham do have and the different sectors that make up the commercial revenue, they would all see a huge surge. And if we are talking on it, I can't put an exact amount on it, but we likely see worldwide partnerships become available, whether it is worldwide, whether it's still UK based, but we would see more partnerships become available, because if you're a company out there, you see a Premier League team, you're going to want to sponsor them, you're going to want to put your money where your mouth is, to have your logo, your brand being showcased, like I said, to 1.6 cumulative viewers across the world. Billion, that is, sorry. We'd also see shirt sales would no doubtedly hit an all-time high, and the overall value of all of the above I've just said would take a big financial hit, and all for the good reasons. This would also mean Wrexham would have a higher spending power in the Premier League. As confirmed by the Premier League, clubs are allowed to spend up to 85% of their revenue on squad costs. This consists of transfer fees, wages, agent fees, etc. Now, the generated revenue per season since the takeover at Wrexham has just been astronomical for the level we've been in, of course. In the National League, League 2, League 1, they're going to be numbers that the leagues have never seen before. So to go up to the Premier League, Wrexham's revenue alone would just continue rising. But with the money that we are generating from possible promotion, that number would easily soar above. You could even be looking at £250 million, and that's not me being unreasonable, and I can't believe those words are actually coming out of my mouth. But like I said, for the level that Wrexham have been at, we've always punched well above our weight. We've probably done 100 times what other clubs in that league had done in their financial reports for the course of that season. So with us possibly banking tens of millions of pounds if we do go up, our financial spending would be significantly higher than what some people might expect. I'm not saying Wrexham are going to go out there and spend £150 million. We've seen recently that Wrexham really don't need to spend all that much money to see success on the pitch. Yes, we've spent a lot over the past couple of seasons, but it wouldn't surprise me if Phil Parkinson would go into the Premier League as a newly promoted side and spend about £40-50 million. But I'm just saying the funding would be there for Wrexham to have an incredible transfer window. Merch sales and manufacture deals for Wrexham. Now, typically as the club reaches the Premier League, and this doesn't just necessarily mean for Wrexham, but for any Premier League club that has just come up from the Championship, the price of sponsorships and kit manufacture deals increase due to obviously the publicity that clubs do gain in such a popular league across world football. Manufacturing deals for kits, that is obviously, ours is currently Macron. You are looking at possibly Nike, Adidas, etc. coming into Wrexham. They usually pay £20 million upwards to be the club's kit supplier over the course of the season. We don't know how much Macron currently do pay Wrexham, but as things stand, I think they can make a hefty chunk out of the kit supplier. And in terms of merch sales as well, I think we'll see an even bigger increase in how many shirts that Wrexham do sell across the board of the Premier League season. In League One last year, we reportedly sold close to 100,000 shirts. Now, if we're looking at the average for a Premier League side, it can range between 200,000 and the top end sides usually sell about 1 million shirts in a season. How many shirts Wrexham would sell in the Premier League? It's only worth a guess because it could range from, like I said, 200,000. It probably wouldn't be 1 million, but you are looking at the publicity that Wrexham would get. You would no doubtly get a lot more followers on social media, a lot more worldwide fans, a lot more people following Wrexham that look at this story and think, we might not have been fully aware of it now, but they're in a league with some of the biggest teams in world football. We want to be a part of that. We want to support them by getting a kit, getting, merch sales, getting a piece of clothing. You are likely to see merch sales rise. And that's always what happens to a newly promoted side. There's more eyeballs on the club. There's more people taking a liking to them. So how many shirts Wrexham would sell across the season? I would like to say we'd sell at least 200,000 if we sold 100,000 in League One. It's whether Wrexham draw up a masterpiece, because you don't even know in that sense. If Wrexham do a kit that is so unique and catches people's eye, not even if they're a Wrexham fan, but if they're a fan of another club, they might look at that shirt and think, I really want that. I want that for my collection. It looks cool to wear. So you have to look at it strategically. Obviously, Wrexham will have already made our shirts for the upcoming campaign for the 26-27 season. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But it could be a very big year for Wrexham for merch sales if we do go up to the Premier League. And finishing off with the stadium and training ground. Now, it's been a hot topic over the past couple of years since the takeover at Wrexham. Now, the funding looks to be in place, luckily, for the Cop stand. We've got the £18 million from the council. So the funding is there to do the renovations to the racecourse ground, but the revenue we gain from promotion would just further enhance our budget for expanding the Mould Road, the Tech End, the Wrexham Lager stand. That funding would be in place, and whether we'd obviously go for that permanent training ground, which I do think we do need to get, because we're a championship side now that are pushing to the Premier League. If we are going to go up to the Premier League without a permanent training ground, it's not a good look at all. I think especially in terms of recruiting players, that's a big thing that agents and players look for when they're joining the club. The facilities, are they going to be treated very well? And if they're seeing that Wrexham don't have a permanent training ground, they might look at that and think you might opt for it to go to another club that has some of the best state-of-the-art facilities. So that should be the main priority if Wrexham do go up to the Premier League. Forget the players signing, because you can't sign the best players if you don't have the best facilities. And whether we would go for a training ground from scratch, or whether we try our hardest to maybe even buy out Colliers Park and possibly renovate what we needed to on that front. But either way, it should be a main priority, because we want the best players, we want to be competitive in the Premier League, and to do that we need to have the infrastructure in place. So that is it for today's video, a very statistical based video and a very mind-boggling video, because there is so much at stake if Wrexham do go up to the Premier League. There's so much to gain for us, and it could be the last time that we may even look at the Championship League One in years to come if we do get it right on the transfer window front, the spending wise, because the infrastructure's in place for Wrexham behind the scenes. We just need that training ground. The funding will be there. The recruitment seems to have gone well over the past couple of years, so it could be a very busy last 10 games this season, and these last 10 games could set Wrexham Football Club up for the biggest time of our lives. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you like to see Wrexham get promoted to the Premier League this season? And make sure to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in another video. Take care, guys. Up the Championship and up the Worldwide Reds.